Okay, it says I'm live. It'll pop up over here. I'm seeing that it's got audio. Okay. Let's see. Hello, hello. Bear with me. All right. Let's see. Okay, chat monitor good. Chat monitor is up. No, I don't need to have. Subgoal doesn't need to be visible. Okay. So welcome back to Games I Love. Today we are doing Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which I haven't played Definitive Edition a ton. But Definitive Edition is the current version, so to speak. I grew up playing the original on just off of a disc. And then we had when it eventually came out, I think this was, 2012 maybe? They had Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, which that one was still it was a true remaster of the game. This one's more of a remake of the game. And every version's great. I played a lot of the original. I played a decent bit. Whoa, excuse me, boys. Hello. Hello.
Fish.
Do not harass. Be good. Chaos is breaking out. But yeah, so I played a lot of the original, typically alone, just because I am much younger than my siblings, so they were off in like college and stuff when I'd be playing a lot of the time. So I just play like a single player game. I never played against hard difficulties. I just enjoyed the game in general. I never strove to get good at it. And I still do that for the most part. I don't tend to push myself. But then when we played, or when HD Edition came out, it had native online support that was much better. And we played a lot of that with, like, especially when it first came out. I would play with both of my brothers. I would play with, like, a couple of their friends. We'd get together and play these big, like, 2v2 matches. And it would be, like, hours out of the day. And it was just always a good time. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about Age of Empires is that it can be fun to just play without being good at the game. Like, you'll see once I play, I'm not good. I don't know what I'm doing. I have this very, like, regimented way that I play that I know for a fact is not as good as how a lot of people play. But it never really bothered me much that I wasn't particularly good at Age of Empires 2, because it's just such a fun game to play in the first place. It's very satisfying, and that's a lot of RTS games in general. They're just satisfying to play. So I'm gonna just jump into a skirmish. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with 7. I don't have all of the expansions that they have for this version of the game. They have so many. I will say, this is probably a hot take, they have too many. I liked when they were painting with a broad brush. Now they have these, like, specific groups. So, like, obviously, here's the Japanese. Here's a Chinese. Chinese existed. Here are sub-Chinese, like, subclasses. Like, I think these are different dynasties, like Shu, Wei, and Wu. Like, those are just their own separate thing. It's just a modified version of that. Yeah, like, they have a bunch of DLC, and a lot of it adds subgroups. Like, these Romans are kind of, I'd imagine, kind of similar to the Byzantines, which are the Holy Roman Empire. And it's like, yeah, there is some complexity that are added by having that, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little much for me personally, for my taste. Like, I don't know. I prefer them to be more distinct and have less than to have just, this huge collection. But that's just me. Another really cool thing. So in the original game, the Incans is the name of the group. In the current version, they've been updated to the Inca, which is awesome. The Mayans are now the Maya. Also awesome. It's really cool because they were in the original expansion, which included some early colonization, native peoples from like Central and South America. The Aztecs, the Maya, and the Inca all were added in that expansion, and they're here now. With more accurate names. I think that's a really cool thing for them to do, is to update the names to be more, one, culturally accurate, and two, culturally sensitive, because the Incans and the Mayans, that's not a real thing. The name of the people is the Inca and the name of the people is the Maya, and it was just Europeans adapting those names to just be more European, I guess. Stick an N on it and an S, and it's the people. You can't just call people the Maya. We wouldn't call people the Italy, or something like that. So it's like, I don't know. They felt like they had to shove these extra letters into the names, but the names were tied to that. So it's really cool that they updated that, and I think that's, from what I've heard, going to be tied to, like, they're doing another expansion that includes them, and that's cool. I think that is neat. At the same time, please don't add more subgroups. Just make distinct groups to play as. Anyways, I'm gonna do the weeb thing, and I'm gonna play as the Japanese, and I'm gonna have a random AI, and oh, that's cool. You can choose which version of the AI they have. So the CD version is stupid. That was bad AI. HD version terrified me. On the easy difficulty setting, they were good. I don't know what they're like in this. I'm going to do the ludicrous map size because I think it's fun. Game speed fast. Population 500. The original game had a maximum of 200. How do I set the difficulty? They don't have an easy between easiest and standard. Just because I'm going to be yapping probably for a lot of this, I'm going to just put them on easiest, because I'm not playing to be a pro gamer or anything. Black Forest is one of my favorite styles. This is how my family and I always played. We'd always do a Black Forest map. It's just, that is our play style. We'd just always do that. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna keep. Just because that's the way I played. We almost always locked teams. I'm just gonna turn it on here. Fast speed, great. Standard way to reveal the map. Cool. So let's just load in. And I can continue to yap as I play this. Just waiting. Okay. Some of these games now have like things you have to click on when it's ready, so I wasn't sure. They just said I guess that's me. Oh, they go hi. Oh, that's cool. Now that I know a little bit of Japanese, this is much more interesting. No, whoops. Okay, these are gonna be group 0. We gotta build some houses. You can zoom in now. Zoom in and out. You can zoom out quite a ways. But I think that's a pretty comfortable zoom level. Oh, I don't know where a good spot to keep my phone is here. Okay. Gonna need more villagers. So I think Ia is kind of like yeah. Hi is yes. That's, I guess, basically equivalent to saying me. I don't know if that is how anyone uses, you know, first-person pronouns in Japanese, where they'll say like watashi to say, you know, me. I don't know. I'm not versed enough to know that, but I do know that like, you know, what they're saying, it does have meanings. Yeah, they sometimes say nani. Ore. Oh, the boys are ore boys. Wow. I'm just gonna have these guys chop trees temporarily. How's my guy doing? He's running. He's zooming. You can see how huge this map is, though, given the this is the screen size. So, big map. I love a big map. It's my preferred way to play pretty much any RTS game, is with as large of a map as possible. Okay, let's build a mill here. And then my goal is to farm all of these berries up so that I can have more food to make actual dedicated food people. You will chop one tree at a time and you will like it. Okay. Girl, what are you doing? Just go get this. Alright, we're gonna research the loom so that my people don't die in an instant when a wolf shows up. Oh my god, I'm getting achievements and stuff. You can tell I haven't played in a long time. I guess, actually, well, I haven't played while signed into Microsoft in the first place, so that's probably why I'm getting achievements. Okay, let's switch over to... let's build some barracks. This is a smaller patch of trees than I was expecting. Uh-oh. You guys can build a mine here. Two more villagers on the stone. Uh-oh. Villager limit. More houses. Perfect. How's my guy doing? Scout. Scout. Where is he? Oh, I found him. Oh, a little spot to build a dock. That's not super common. I'll get a dock going, why not? Take it out. Take it out. Nice. Okay, we're gonna need like 3 more guys to do the farming pretty soon. Wow, I have this huge open space up here. I can utilize that. It's gonna be where I'm gonna put my farms. Don't trap anybody. I'm just gonna protect this real quick so that I can get it when it's time. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna need more lumberjacks fast. Oh, wow. I'm gonna temporarily have them cutting wood. I don't know, there were bears in the game. Bird. Used to be able to click on them, I think, in the first game. All right. Yeah, this is where I just enjoy RTS games, is just like slowly building up stuff like this. Like, I'm such an economy player. I like just making a bunch of guys and having them do stuff. But the thing is, you'd think that would mean I would like something like Pikmin. I don't. I need that like overhead, you're in full control of everything kind of style. I think there's just two little fishes. More farms. Research me to the feudal age, please. You can have automatic reseeding? What? Oh, I don't have to set up a huge queue of them? I didn't even know that they changed that. That's awesome. That is honestly a huge quality of life thing. Because a lot of the game was spent just seeding your farms. Alright, we're gonna need another mine here. Whoa. Why are you here? Well, if you're gonna cut these trees, you might as well. Put this here. I'm officially in the point where all your buildings look distinct, which is exciting. Just so that I don't lose these guys, they're gonna be group 9. Alright, time to research some things. Alright, you guys go put your wood back. I need wood. Faster! Yeah, this game is a big part of the reason why I want to have like my, like why I even came up with like my little monster tamer real-time strategy concept. And it's literally just, I love this game so much. It's so comfy, and like playing in this grid is so nice. And I thought when I was like thinking of stuff for my like monster tamer RTS concept that I've got, like I was like, oh, do I want to do it isometric like this? And eventually I settled on, yeah, isometric's just better for this style of game. It just, I don't know, it gives a much more dynamic vibe to just have, you know, all your buildings at a diagonal angle. I don't know why, it just does. Okay, let's put a couple of these down. That's, yeah, that's 3. It's 175 to build a market. This is like a pretty scraggly forest, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's just the scale I'm playing at has widened these paths through the forest. Attack the bear. Stab it. Okay, good. They're all chopping at this chunk of trees now. I need to get over here and see. Gonna need to have some troops soon, so make some spearmen. Just a handful. Watch this be the tiniest little bunch of trees. Oh, it's the tiniest little bunch of... Oh, I know. Okay. We're good. We're good. It's not tiny. There is a hole right here. Okay, let's build myself another outpost to look at this all from. Okay, I see trees. Okay, I'm just gonna wall that. Plain and simple. Ah, they slept out. I was like, can I trap their scout? Can I trap their scout? Okay, gold people. Guys gotta go get more gold. Perfect. Don't need that anymore. Stone people. There's stone down here. Go collect that. Alright, this is group 1 now. Okay. You guys need to start farming. I was gonna say, where's the one going up here? There he goes. Oh, group 0 is now group 10. I see. I thought that was 1 and 0. I was like, well, that's annoying that they do it that way. Get a watchtower here just to make this very easier. Nice. Can I build a wall here? Is this a good line of trees here? Not really. Dang, I really put myself in a hard to defend size. Okay, well, I found trees. So I'm gonna... I think my plan is to go... I'm gonna go from these trees to like here. Stick myself a gate right here. And then I'm gonna build myself something from like here to here. Gate. Let's get some archers going. Oh my god, guys, what are you doing? I lost track of my wood people for a while. All the way over here. Alright, I'm gonna have them chop very specifically. I want them to get rid of these trees as soon as possible, so that we can go back and and start cutting wood where we're supposed to cut wood. I'm watching y'all. I'm watching y'all. Don't you do it. Oh no, I need more houses. Okay. Build up my super dense district there. Put a little market here. Build myself some stables. Okay, you guys put that wood down. Alright. Bar. Oh wow, I didn't realize they already got back. Oh my god, I'm out of stone. There's gotta be more stone somewhere. I'm gonna find stone. Have I found any more stone? Oh man, it's hard to see on this map. It's so small. Alright, we're going on a little adventure here. Okay. I got all the things I can got. Looks like. How much food does a fishing trap contain? 715. Well, a fresh farm. It's about to be built here. So 250. Okay. Fishing traps are more efficient as far as the food goes. Good to know. Better wood to food ratio. What a great group. I've got some walls and they don't fully close me off. Once I've cleared these trees out, I'm gonna go build more walls. Get rid of that old camp. Yeah, I can start the H3 going. That's can I build this? And let's stick another gate here. Hello, thank you. Let's see. I'm almost to the castle age. Okay. Give them this. Okay, let's upgrade you. Get the thumb ring going. Get that. Get this going. Get that going. This. This. And this. And this. This. Get me a guy. And we'll get all of these upgrades going. She's done up there. She can come down and build. Okay. I need another monk. Not yet. Oh, whoops. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the plow. Oh, stone people are done. I see gold. I see gold. Gold. Ah, stone. All the way up here. Wow. Go, friend. Alright, priest, you gotta go find a new thing. What do relics look like? I forget what they look like on the map. I have to have found one somewhere. They can't have just both been like in my base and nowhere else. Hello? This map is too tiny. I can't see the things. This is what happens when I play on ludicrous size. I need like a freaking TV just to see the what's on this map. I think there's gold here, gold and stone here, berry patch. Hello? I don't know. I don't know if there are any others right now that I've seen. I'm looking around and I'm not seeing any. Oh, I can go to siege workshops, that's true. I should do that. my military building. Same spot to put everything. Get some mangonels. Surprised samurai are so cheap. Whoa, guys, what are you doing? Be civilized. I saw some over here, but there's gotta be some elsewhere. Oh, right here. Kill the bear. Just a little outpost so I can keep an eye on things out here. Yeah, let's get some more houses going. How do I attack with it? Oh, R. R is attack move. More houses. Just to have an area that feels like it's kind of structured like a town. Don't lose your mangonels. You're all to go in together. this song from the DS game. Wow. I didn't listen to the songs much as a kid because the way we had this, we had CDs that had copies of the files that could run without having a CD in. Basically just to make multiplayer easier. Oops. Oopsies. I took out a few of my guys. Well, I took out, in fact, I think 5. I don't know. I hurt my guys. That's what really matters here. Not what I wanted to do, but not bad. Let's spread out just so we don't hurt each other anymore. Oh, hey, dude. Just stuck in our midst. Get back to farming. Or, cutting wood. We're heading into the area that they have. Okay, maybe let's not just do that willy-nilly. Time to destroy things. Gonna be a nice easy win. I mean, I am playing against the easiest difficulty. This is no flex. Oh, they're all. Get away. Okay, I need to start some upgrades going. Haha, elite samurai now. Okay, I've got onagers. Can I get siege onagers? I don't think so. No. Oh. Destruction! Oh my god, these guys are going to town on them. But yeah, I don't know. Like these, I feel like there's, especially in Age of Empires 2, it's just such a satisfying game. Like, I'm not playing on like a high difficulty or anything. I'm just having a good time. I'm just vibing. You know, I was playing super econ centric and not well in the slightest, and I had fun. And now it's about time I do my winning. Yeah. Get out of here. No, get off my things. Oh. I won. They gave up. I didn't even fully destroy them. Did I, like... Fair enough, I guess. The AI was like, no tango. But, like, I don't know. Like, this game is just such a relaxing game for me. It's such a, like... True, like, piece of my, like youth. I played this a ton. There's other RTS games that I played a lot. In my first year doing this series of games I love. Wow, what a weird Black Forest map. Can we just take a moment to acknowledge that this is all trees? And then we have this like super sparse area here. Like, I'm used to it being like, here's a circle and a line. Here's a circle and a line, you know? Wow, what an interesting Black Forest map this is. The trees I was cutting down, it's this little zip in here. That's crazy. These guys were cutting through my wall trees. Okay, fair enough. Wow, that's crazy. The AI had so much better tree. That's crazy. Like, their forest was so good. Like, they could have been cutting all of these trees so effectively. Huh. Fair enough, I suppose. But yeah, this is a great version of this game. It looks really nice. Like, it still has that same sprite-based aesthetic. All of the sprites just have more frames now rendered out. They're rendered at just an outright higher resolution. But they're all still pre-rendered 3D models. And then when buildings collapse, they have rendered versions of them collapsing, because in the original game it would just go like poof, and there's like a destroyed building there, like it didn't have any fancy animation. But now they have these like detailed building crumbling, every brick coming apart style physics sims that they have saved as like a series of GIFs, or not GIFs, as a series of sprites, and then those sprites are played out as a building's destroyed to give it a little more visual interest. But like this is such a pretty version of this game. Like look at the water here. I think the water is a very underrated part of this. It looks so good in Definitive Edition. But let's go to the menu. All right, let's look at our statistics here. So we can see that obviously compared to easiest level AI, dominated. I lost 18 units. I think 5 of them were from me accidentally blasting my own guys with freaking onagers and mangonels. You can see I collected a lot of resources. They collected 0 stone. How did they collect 0 stone? Was there no stone near them? Wait. No, there's stone right here. Is there stone in there? There's stone here. That's so bizarre that the AI would reach level 4 without collecting any of their stone. Wow, I don't know what this Definitive Edition AI is doing. Yeah, a lot of food. Farms. Underrated. And by underrated, I mean everyone respects the farm if they've played Age of Empires. I got a decent bit of relic gold off those 2 relics. I don't know how many there were or where they were. But you can see just very quickly how my economy dominated and then my military was built up and just squished them. Yeah, and then that was at in-game, it would have been a 2-hour victory. But for me, that was like an hour because I'm playing on like the fast speed. So let's return to the main menu. There's also a map editor, which is really cool. You can do a lot with these, and all of these games have them. So you get like a nice terrain painter. Get non-navigable beach. That's awesome. What a nice thing to have as a specific. There's also different types of beach. There's an ice beach. So this would be like along the coast of a, or along the side edge of a lake. On some icy map. You've got a beach with vegetation. Got a wet beach. Like, you just have all these different options. So, you like, I never went super in-depth with this, but you can really, like, make a rather detailed and nice, What a bizarre one that is. I don't know. I guess it's not under beach. I was thinking, like, oh, that's not a beach. Get like cracked mud and desert stuff. Got dirts. Lots of dirts. Quicksand. Sand. Yeah, you got all these different textures. 0% farm, 33% farm, 67% farm, dead farm. You have all these forest options that, you know, appear on different maps. This game genuinely has so much that you can do with its like map building tools. Again, this is something that like all Age of Empires games have. I've seen some really pretty things that people have made just in these map editors. So if you want like the sandbox experience, not like, oh, I have to get resources and do stuff, like you could literally just paint using all of these brushes and whatnot, like this gorgeous scene, and then build all sorts of different buildings to kind of build up this like town or the city. And that's something that, again, I never explored all that much as like a kid, but it is like one of the really cool features that you have with these games, is that you can just like outright build all sorts of things. And you got all the different rotations of things. You can build coliseums and docks. Different towers. Fortress. So like you have all these cool like tools just like at your fingertips here to like build whatever you want. And I didn't do it nearly as much in this. I know I showed last year when I was playing Age of Mythology how I would sometimes, like as a kid, I would just like put down, like I'd go into this menu and I would just put down like, oh, I want to see one of every myth unit, and I want to have like 10 of this specific one and see if they could kill them all. And then of course they couldn't, because it was 10 versus like an army of hundreds. So unless I put them like really distant from each other, that didn't work. But yeah, such a fun aspect of these games that I like. Were I the right kid, I could have enjoyed this game from nothing but this system of just building my own maps. And I'd be like, oh, you got a guy here, and then I need a road. Where can I get a road? Oh, perfect. We got road. Let's put a little foundation here underneath this using the road. And then we can have like this nice... actually, let's do gravel underneath all this. Gravel road. And then we can have like this little road that's not gravel going, goes this way. We've got like another area where we've got this gravel, and I could put another building there. That's gonna be what is this a good option? Put a little cool fancy castle. That's awesome. Like you can just do all of that and like build up this really aesthetically pleasing town or city or whatever. It's just so cool. But yeah, these Age of Empires is just such a lifelong franchise for me that I just adore. And I don't play it nearly as much as I did as a kid these days, but it holds like such a special place in my heart. And I would literally, like, the game you just saw was very typical of what I did as a kid. I would play on like the easiest difficulty, and I would just build this like high economy thing and like research all the things I could research, and eventually I would just get bored and make a big army and go and wipe them out. But there's just something so enjoyable about that methodical like build of your city. And it's like I love this style of RTS. One that you'll never see, at least anytime soon. I hope so much that I can someday do this one. I hope that they do like a remaster or a sequel that's good and not bad, or something someday. But they're probably not gonna. There was a real-time strategy game that was Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth, and then there was Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. Battle for Middle-earth 1 was okay. I played it a bit, but I loved Battle for Middle-earth 2. I played that game so much, but unfortunately, Battle for Middle-earth 2, while it was on Steam, I think, for a little while, it's no longer on Steam. The license that the developers had has long since lapsed, so unless I owned it already, I couldn't do it here. And I do have it on CD. I just don't know how my computer will play with that build of the game, because obviously it came out so long ago. I don't know how set up it was for even a 64-bit operating system in the first place. Age of Empires was not built for a 64-bit operating system. I remember when Age of Empires 2, before HD Edition came out, if you had Windows 7 at a 64-bit operating system, like, it messed up the visuals. There was like something about the way the colors and the tiles were stored. It was like so truly for like a 32-bit system that if you were running on a 64-bit, it would just, everything would get super blown out and hideous and hard to even see what you're looking at. For a lot of the ground textures, it was really bizarre. But with HD Edition, they removed that. They made it 64-bit friendly, and since it's been like that. But I don't know. I haven't tested Battle for Middle-earth 2 on my current computer. I don't know if it would work all that well. But I also don't own the expansion on CD, so I can't install that and really show off some of the fun stuff that they had. But that was a really cool game because it was a real-time strategy game. It had relatively unique like base mechanics. You didn't have anyone gathering resources. You had these like buildings that generated resources, and you had to space them far enough apart that they're not competing with each other and thus lowering their own efficiency. So you kind of had to have this like this methodical layout of highly optimized like resource buildings, and each of the civilizations had a different building. But what really stood out for me with that game was, one, when you produce a unit in this game, it represents a battalion of units, but obviously is depicted as a guy. It's just one guy, not a collection of guys. But one way to think of the hit points is as guys get injured or get killed from the unit, which is something that the DS game emphasized, where literally the battalions are strongest when they're at high health, and they do less damage the less health they have, and you literally see when you attack a group of guys doing their attacks, and then as they die, they die. Which was a very different way to play, but it was still rather interesting. It was also a turn-based game. It was not a real-time strategy. But in Battle for Middle-earth 2, when you made like one unit of, say, I don't know, swordsmen as Gondor or something, those swordsmen would come out of the like barrack structure as a group of guys, and each of those guys independently could deal damage. And so as those individual guys were killed, you would be doing less damage. So it was kind of what I was talking about with the DS version of Age of Empires. It was a lot like that, but in a way that used like a real-time strategy system, and it was really cool. But one thing that really stood out for me in that game was that you could have custom heroes, because it was a game where it had a hero system, which Age of Mythology has, but its hero system was very different. Heroes leveled up. Heroes had skills, and when heroes died, you could spawn a new one in your base, but you could only have one of that hero at a time. And you could have custom heroes in the game. So you could make your own custom wizard. or like a, you know, one of the Rohirrim. You could make an orc. You could make a troll. And they all played within the styles of those units, but they had their own special techniques that you could give them and special stat bonuses and things that they get at certain levels. It was just such a cool system. And I don't know, it was just really fun. I spent a lot of time just making heroes in that game, but unfortunately, because the license is gone, I don't see myself being able to really show off some of the things that I truly love about that one. But you know, real-time strategy games in general were a huge part of my childhood, starting with Age of Empires. I played the first Age of Empires, I played Age of Empires 2, I played 3, I played Age of Mythology. And I would say 2 holds the biggest place in my heart, other than Mythology. It's like Mythology and 2 are like right up there as basically equals. And then Age of Empires 3 is like a step down from them, but I still really enjoyed it and still really love it. And then 4, I think, is awesome. It's so cool. I have not had nearly the chance that I wish I could have had to really sink my teeth into it and explore it more and just play around in it. But that one's really cool. Each of the civilizations is like super distinct, super unique, which was something they played around with a little bit in Age of Empires 3, where different groups of civilizations had different styles of play as they did different expansions. Like one of the expansions was just Native American nations that were added, and those nations would have these completely unique ways to play compared to all of the European civilizations. And then the next one they did was a lot of like different Asian cultures, and so they had their own unique systems. And that was like the first taste of where Age of Empires 4 went, where each of the civs is completely different from the last. And this Age of Empires 2 style is probably best exemplified by, I believe, the Britons or the Bretons or the British. I don't know exactly what they're called for off the top of my head, but like that is kind of like the default Age of Empires play style, whereas each of the others is like some unique twist on it. And I think that's really cool. I think like in the Japanese civilization, you get like Shinto priests who can like bless structures and stuff like that to make them do certain things better. Really cool how it's developed, but at the same time, Age of Empires 2 is truly, it's the melee of Age of Empires. It's the one that everyone's like, that's the one, that's the competitive one, that's the one that people go back to all the time and play. And it's like, it's fair. It's a very good game. I don't personally like play professionally or anything like that, but there was a big competitive professional scene for this game. It was like this and StarCraft. Like this and StarCraft 1 are the melees of the RTS competitive scene. They're the ones that people just come back to and come back to and come back to. But Age of Empires 3 and 4 couldn't even capture like that professional scene in the same way that something like StarCraft 2 did for a while. I don't know how big StarCraft 2 is now, but I'm pretty sure StarCraft 1 is bigger than it. Just because StarCraft 1 is, again, it's the melee of StarCraft. Age of Empires 2, though, melee of Age of Empires. By far. It is the game that like everyone just keeps coming back to. And it is a great game. And it's... Age of Empires 2 is that game that is so good that it's like, how could you have expected Age of Empires 3 to be better or Age of Empires 4 to be better? My only gripe, though I understand why, is that Age of Empires 5 or Age of Empires 4 was supposed to be like World War 1 to World War 2 early modern age of warfare. You know, trench warfare, things like that. That was what it was supposed to be. But after the success of Age of Empires 2 and HD Edition and Definitive Edition, they felt like what they wanted to do instead was to go back to this time period of Age of Empires 2, but build on it in this like super unique way. And I think Age of Empires 4 is very cool for that. At the same time, there's a part of me that's like, man, as a kid, I did look forward to Age of Empires 4 being this like more modern warfare style, and, you know, expanding on the idea of having guns as weapons for most infantry, and starting to introduce things like cars and, you know, jeeps and things like that, and planes. There's a part of me that was excited for that, but I get why they didn't. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to play this on the channel either, just because it's so old, and I highly doubt they have a release that runs. There was another big real-time strategy game that was cool to me as a kid that was Empire Earth. And Empire Earth was like made by someone who was on the Age of Empires team, and I don't know, like had some sort of falling out, and so he went to another company and made his own real-time strategy, Empire Earth, that used all of the stuff that Age of Empires planned to do over its entire history, but as one game. So you would start as like cavemen, and you would build up and build up and build up, and then when you got to a high enough rank, you would be in like the Dark Ages and medieval era and stuff like that, and you'd slowly build up and build up and build up. Or actually, I don't think you didn't go straight into medieval. You went from like the Dark Ages into like the like Bronze Age, like, you know, Greco-Roman era, and then from there you would go into like more medieval and build up and build up and build up, and then eventually you'd get to like more, you know, World War II era, like kind of modern. You'd build up and build up and build up, and then you'd have now, which at that time was like 90s, early 2000s, but you'd have like, you know, Desert Storm era military stuff, and then you'd build up and build up and build up, and eventually you would just go into the future, and like all of your villagers would be replaced with these like robots, and you'd have like these weird like laser ships, and it was really wacky and crazy. But that game was just so cool to me, because it was like, oh my god, you can go from like all the way down here and build up until you're this like futuristic society. And if you're really good at the game, you know, maybe you could reach the point where you have like tanks and stuff, but your opponent is still like got swords and shields, and they have nothing they can do against these like artillery shots that are like blasting them. Another fun thing that the game had was, so while Age of Empires has the priests or the monks, or like the other sort of like religious leaders that are present, in Empire Earth, they did have like a priest class that had a lot of the functions that they do in Age of Empires. They had a second one that was the prophet. So you had priests and prophets, and they were both these spiritual units. Prophets would predict like disaster. So they had spells. They were spellcasters. You could summon a volcano near someone or cause an earthquake, and I thought that was so cool. And as you would expand, like the prophet would change and grow into like different, more unique like prophets. And I just remember the modern era prophet was a naked homeless man with a sign that said "The end is nigh" as his only piece of clothing, and it was that on like the front and the back, like the modern era prophet. I thought that was like, I don't know, such a neat way to adapt like a modern thing in that way. I don't know, I loved Empire Earth too, but as far as I know, they've never remastered it. They've never re-released it. I don't know that the companies that made it even exist anymore. But that was another big one that I would love to explore again. But it's been a long time, and I don't think I'm going to get that chance. Yeah, like real-time strategies were genuinely like, they were my childhood. And one of the things that I often find myself thinking about when I'm playing a game is like, man, imagine a real-time strategy of this world. Like, I genuinely think Nintendo should 1000% make a spin-off game that is a real-time strategy. I think they should find one of the, like, they should work with like Microsoft or something to make a switch to real-time strategy game that uses the mouse controls or the, you know, controller controls, and, you know, utilizes one of their game worlds in some way. I think the one that has the most room for interesting stuff would be like maybe Splatoon. Like, imagine a Splatoon RTS game. That would go crazy. That would be like this, such a bizarre way to play, but it would be really interesting where, you know, it's like everyone has Zerg style creep, but the creep is their own ink, and it's not spread by like creep tumors or different buildings or something, but it's spread by literally you just have units going out and painting turf. I think that would be like a really cool use of mouse mode. But the one that jumps out the most immediately in my head as like a kind of base level default real-time strategy, like the Age of Empires option, would be if they did like a Legend of Zelda real-time strategy game utilizing the Wild Era. I think that would be phenomenal. Because, you know, we have humans, we have Zoras, we have Gorons, we have Ganon's forces, we have the Gerudo, we have the Rito, there's hypothetically there could be other forces included as well. I mean, you have the Sheikah, obviously. You have outside of Ganon's main forces, you could have as a separate civilization the Yiga clan. There's a little bit of a limitation there as far as like you can't balance the number of evil factions with good factions, so to speak. And I don't know what they would do like campaign wise, story wise for it, but that's always like been something that I've been like, oh man, that would be so cool, because they really built up and fleshed out this world in each of these civilizations in those games, and I'm like, man, every time I like look at it, I'm like, oh, just imagine you could have like an army of Zora, and they're running in, and there's an army of Goron rolling towards them. That always just like stuck out to me as like that would be so fun, but I feel like it's not something Nintendo would ever make, because you would have one. I don't know that you could even have it be like E10 or, you know, any of the ratings that are around like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. By having, I don't know if you can with soldiers fighting each other like that. Maybe you can. Like, I think it would be really cool, but I don't think they'd ever do it. I feel like there's a lot of things they could do with that era of Zelda, but I don't think that they would. Or they could do something where it's just inspired by all of the eras of Zelda, and you have a variety of different civilizations that are inspired by that. Like, you could have the humans be their own separate thing, the Hylians be their own separate thing, you know, Sheikah, Yiga clan, Gerudo, like all of those like hallmark ones. But then you could add like the Deku scrubs, you could add the Kakiri and the Koroks as like two separate factions or something if you wanted to. You could have you know, either different eras of Ganon's forces, or you know, maybe you have Ganon's forces, Ganondorf's forces. You could have what is the Breath of the Wild one called? Why can't I think of his name? Calamity Ganon's forces. You know, you could have the Zonai, or even just the constructs as their own thing. You could have Vati's forces. Like, I don't know. Like, you could have all these different kind of across the history of Zelda militaries and use that. But I just constantly think about how cool those things would be, and it's just a testament to how much my childhood was steeped in the Age of Empires games, and I think so highly of them. And it's like these games, that's what real-time strategy is to me. I don't vibe with things like Pikmin. I don't vibe with that like Minecraft RTS game they released recently that's a little Pikmin-y. That's not my style of RTS. Like, I need to be that like above it all force that's commanding all the things, and focusing on like economies and stuff like that. That's what really stands out to me. And I feel like nowadays, if you look at like popular RTS, I feel like a lot of people know like Pikmin, obviously, but I feel like less people nowadays know much about Age of Empires unless they grew up on it or they happened to stumble across like the competitive scene of AoE2. And it's like, I feel like that's just RTS in general has not been in its heyday for a long time. I think it's a kind of a shame, but at the same time, I kind of get it. It's a type of game that requires a time commitment, and you know, it is what it is. But for what it's worth, I love it. And it's like I don't even play competitively. I don't play against other people. I don't play online. I just like like almost all the time. Not even half the time. I was gonna say half the time, but like most of the time I play, it's just me, an easy to standard difficulty enemy AI, maybe 2v2, and I'm just living. You know, I'm just making my town, and then eventually I go, alright, it's about time I crush them, and then I go make an army and do that. But it's just, there's something so fun about how the economy management and all that works in this. And it's like, you would think with how I enjoy that aspect of the game, like, oh, you would love the Dondori gameplay of Pikmin. And I'm like, no. I own Pikmin 1, did not vibe with it. I own Pikmin 3, did not vibe with it. The only Pikmin game I've enjoyed is the one in Nintendo Land, which is a crazy statement, because that one is utterly bizarre, because Mii's are the Pikmin. But that was the one that really stood out to me, was Nintendo Land's. Just the way the gamepad interacted with the controls was so good. Maybe someday there'll be one that clicks with me more. Like, I tried the Pikmin 4 demo, and I hated the camera. It was gorgeous and it was very well made, but it was like, I'm playing it, I'm like, this is not a real-time strategy for me. This is not my real-time strategy, which is a shame, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's gonna be all for today's stream. I've been yapping for like 30-40 minutes just about this game and real-time strategies in general. But like, this game is what really inspired me to kind of start my Monster Tamer RTS concept. It's not like an active game in development or anything like that, so I apologize if anyone's hopes it would have gotten up by that, but it's something that I like to think about, and I make different monster designs for. Heck, I like write story related stuff all the time now, but I don't know that I'm ever gonna actually like buckle down and make it anytime soon. It's just a fun little project that I do for the love of the game. But yeah, if you follow me on Blue Sky or every so often you'll see something on one of my streams here. Anytime you see a sprite that's posted that has like my background for my pixel art is kind of like my background for my thumbnails and for like this stream where it has like the circle and the little swooshies. The way I have it for this purpose is like I'll take like for say like a fake mod or something, I'll take the colors of its types and then I'll put like the background circle be a color tied to the project. For anything that's tied to my Monster Tamer RTS concept, all of the sprites that are associated with that have a like deep red background. It's not too dissimilar from the colors of these buttons. Coincidentally, it's meant to kind of be like this like kind of sanguine color, but like a little slightly more purple because I thought that looked nice. But yeah, if you see any sprites that I make that look like that, know that that's the project it's tied to. I also, every time I make one of those, I share like, this is what it would look like if it's part of your army, and like all of the different team colors. Which there's probably some controversial choices that I conceptualized for that game that I don't know if everyone would be a huge fan of, but they can deal. If I ever make that game, they can deal. Yeah, that's it. That's all for today's stream. So thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Either way is cool with me as long as you had some fun. That said, I'm going to go do human things as humans do, and you probably should too. Please, if you think this game looks fun to screw around in, or even if you just want a good RTS game and you don't happen to own Age of Empires, this game goes on sale sometimes during like the Steam summer sales and stuff like that. So just like wishlist it and just wait for it to go on sale. It eventually will. I think this game's on like Xbox, like you could play it on console. I don't recommend that experience for it, but honestly, there's a part of me that's like, if it comes to the Switch, I might pick up Age of Empires 2 Definitive for Switch so that I can play that, like if I'm at like work or something, or I'm like out at like on vacation or something, can break out my Switch and just build myself a little town and then eventually destroy an enemy group or something. I don't know. It could be fun. But yeah, these games are great. Buy them if you don't own them. I'm so happy that they've revived them. Yeah, that's gonna be all from me. So goodbye. I'm gonna go click the stop streaming button. Hope everybody has a nice night.